Hey, Doug Upstone here for Vegas Pro Insiders Daily, and today is Tuesday, September the 19th, and we're going to look over what's going on in college football, as we have done the last 3 weeks. And to all the new subscribers, thank you very much for joining. And what we're going to do here today is look at the betting trends and line moves of a number of big games, or just because of that, the line moves in college football. And then we're going to come back on Friday, and we'll go over everything, all the line moves, plus then give out our free picks. So today primarily is just designed to, let's just say, we're going to dive into some of the action and see what's going on. Have a number of good games to follow. You know, and along that same line, if you've been watching the videos, hey, last week, if you follow the line moves, 16-5 is how they ended up doing. So that was extremely good. Myself personally, I was 13-8 overall, including 7-2 in the NFL for those picks. And if you go to the website, you'll see the betting percentages. When the public's on 80% or better, they were 4-2 this past week, and that takes the percentage up to 57.3%. I think on 235 or so picks, so that's exceptional as well. So a lot of good information that you can get here to help you out with your picks. Along with that, you can become a VPID member. I got two choices for you: either the standard membership, which includes all of my picks, Wise Guy plays, what else? Power ratings, all kinds of good stuff. Okay, that's going to help you win, because it's just not about just buying picks. It's about having the right information. Because I know you're playing other games besides the just the ones that you might be purchasing, whether it be here or anyplace else. Or you could also go with the Wise Guys. Excuse me, you could go with the Inner Circle plays as well. Those are $99 a month. You can get 5 handicappers, including yours truly, plus all the information I mentioned. So, hey, let's get to some college football talk right now. First up, we got the Thursday ESPN game, which is Temple at South Florida. Now, the total and the side have both really exploded. Pretty much like somebody just got off Weight Watchers. so yeah, big changes. South Florida, the Bulls from -17.5 all the way up to -20.5, and the total from 58.5 to 63. Now, Temple is just not the same team. You know, they got blown out by Notre Dame in the opener, and really they didn't beat either Villanova and or Massachusetts by very much in their 2 victories. So this is just not the same team on offense or defense. Got a new coach, instituting new systems. I think the talent level's down on this as well, and particularly you see that they're just slower overall, especially on defense after being so good for a couple of, or at least 2 or 3 years there. So when I look at this, the line moves seem to be rather large, but you know what? I think they're accurate. Plain and simple, 75% of the betting public, in terms of tickets written so far, are on both South Florida and the over. Next up, we got, let's see here, what do we have here? Here we go. Louisiana Tech is taking on South Carolina. Now, in this one, South Carolina has fallen from -11 to -8.5. They lost one of their top wide receivers, Deebo Samuel, and they really didn't play very well last week. And losing to Kentucky, they moved the ball passing, but got beat up on the lines, both offensive and defensive, and lost the game. But I think that's going to add some value here. And myself, if you're looking at South Carolina, I'd jump on this right away. The reason being more talent, okay, more speed, SEC speed, across the board. Louisiana Tech. This team, at least so far, has not been the dynamic offensive team we're used to seeing. I think they have 44 points in their last 2 games against FBS opponents. It's not the same crew. I think the value here is with South Carolina. If you can grab it under 10, I would do it. Right now, 60% of the betting public is on the Gamecocks. Next up, Washington and Colorado. Ooh, and buckle your chin strap on that one, as the total is down from 53 to 50. Now, these 2 teams are who played in last year's Pac-12 championship game. And if you look at how they've been playing thus far, they've put up some good numbers offensively, but the defenses, I think, have both played well. And because neither offense is running the ball particularly well, I think they're going to have to throw in order to move the ball, let's just say, fairly consistently. I think that the direction of this line move is going to end up being wrong, because I think that the turnovers or the mistakes that will likely come of this, if both teams end up just being one-dimensional, I think I'm going to call for a score of 54 or higher right now, and 57% of the bettors right now, despite the score, despite the total dropping, are on the over. Next, Auburn and Missouri. Ooh, Missouri not looking sharp at all. The Tigers, the Missouri Tigers, giving up a lot of points. They really were feeble last week. Now, Auburn has not looked good at all offensively the last 2 weeks. I'm not sure that their quarterback, the transfer, is really the answer for what they're going to need to do. But if anything is going to make them feel better offensively, I can almost assure you it's going to be going up against the Missouri Tigers defense, because those guys are wide open, giving up 36.3 points per game, and then offensively, besides the fact that they only scored 3 against Purdue, and let's face it, Purdue's defense isn't anywhere near Auburn's, so I can see Auburn holding them to 10 or less points without a great deal of effort. The Auburn Tigers have gone from -17 to -19. I think they take care of business just offhand, and 88% of those are agreeing with me, saying the Auburn Tigers right now are the play. Next up, TCU at Oklahoma State. Ooh, one of the really good games this weekend. And what surprised me is that the Cowboys decide, hey, you know what? You get no argument from me. Oklahoma State at home is always, a solid wager. But I was still surprised it went from 10.5 to 12.5 so quickly. I got a feeling that's going to come back as the week goes along. But, because TCU has a very good offensive team, very good defensive team, lots of experience. They've added size, particularly in the defensive line. They're not huge, but they've added size, so I think that they're much better. I think they're very much a quality team. I think they can compete with Oklahoma State. Here's how I think the outcome is going to be determined, though, is that TCU likes to play man-to-man defense across the board. Oklahoma wide receivers are fantastic, especially James Washington. So that, I think, is going to be a determining factor in how this is going to play out. If Oklahoma State has wide open lanes to throw the ball, against them without a pass rush from TCU, I think they'll win by 15, 20, whatever it happens to be. But if TCU can get some pressure, and along with the other things that they're doing well, I think this becomes a closer game, just overall. Right now, the public is not thinking what I'm thinking, as 82% of the people are on Oklahoma State. Next up, now this is kind of a quiet game. UTSA from Texas San Antonio is at Texas State. And UTSA has fallen from 15.5 down to 13.5. And the reason that has occurred is that Texas State has actually played pretty good defense. They really did a great job against the run versus Colorado and Appalachian State. And, they were in both of those games. So, they're pretty good from a defensive standpoint. My question, though, is can Texas State score enough in this game? So even though the spread's down to 13.5 off under a key number, I still wonder about that. We'll see how that plays out. Right now, 64% are on the visitor, UTSA. We'll go along with that. Finally, Oklahoma against Baylor. In prior years, we would be looking forward to this game. There's nothing to look forward to this game that's going to be on FS1 at 6:30 Eastern Time, Saturday night. Oklahoma's gone from -25 to -28.5 at Waco. Woo! Big number there. I wouldn't be necessarily afraid of it. Here's why. Watch Baylor twice now. They have their offense is in flux, new coach, so they're learning a whole new system. Defensively, they are slow. I mean, you get the ball out in space. I watched quite a bit of the Duke game against, and anytime Duke got the ball out in space, the guys were wide open. There was no pursuit. There's nothing there. Oklahoma, is going to do a better job than what Duke did, right? I mean, that just stands to reason with Baker Mayfield and all those guys that they have. So I have no problem taking Oklahoma at this juncture, and I'd even consider, to be perfectly honest, even at 20.5, if you can get 15 for the first half line on Oklahoma, I think that's a pretty good bet as well. 91% of the people are on the Sooners, so there you have it. So we'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk some NFL line moves and some betting trends. And again, as I mentioned on Friday, we'll come back and talk about all these games plus new ones, and we'll have free picks for you as well. So looking forward to that. So this is Doug Upstone for today. I am out.